Hey guys, so in this video we're going to cover how to create compelling, engaging and unique content. We're going to go over a comparison between outsourcing content versus creating content yourself, my suggestion on outsourcing versus creating content yourself and what I personally do, full details on how to create awesome content, i.e. how you structure your content, how you use keywords, images, internal and external linking, title tags and etc. So the first thing we're going to talk about is outsourcing content versus writing the content yourself. Now there's obviously pros and cons to both options. When it comes to outsourcing content, that saves a lot of time, but costs money, and it can be hard to find a good writer, so sometimes that makes it take even longer if you're trying between different writers to see who's actually good, and it can cost you a lot more money than you would intentionally want it to cost you. Writing content yourself is free, but takes time, as you also have to do the research, and you may also dislike writing. But if you don't like writing, maybe SEO shouldn't be your focus in the first place, if you're not a fan of creating content. If you do outsource, make sure you start with just one article to see if the writer is any good, and only order more if they are a good writer and you've tested them out. So now let's move on to my suggestion on creating content. Firstly, each person's scenario is different, so this won't apply for everyone, it's just what I like to do. So I normally outsource my first couple of articles so I can get things going faster, and while they're writing those articles for me, I start working on other stuff, whatever it is that needs to be done. Maybe I'm designing my website still, I'm doing some social media and getting things set up. But yeah, I want to get it outsourced so it's just quicker than me writing it more myself, so I can get moving quicker when I first set up my website. I would give them decent keyword groups, but not my best ones, because I don't know if they're a good writer yet, so I don't want to waste money on them writing my best keywords and then I have to rewrite it or hire someone else anyway. So I give them good keywords, but not my favorite ones, not the ones I want to rank most for, just ones I don't mind ranking for or I want to rank for, but they're not my best ones. If they turn out to be a good writer, then I found myself a good writer that I can refer back to in the future if I want to create more content. To save money, after I've outsourced the initial couple of articles, I would write the rest of the articles myself until I start profiting. Then I can reinvest the profits into outsourcing more articles. The thing I don't want to do is continue to invest in articles when my site's not making any money, and I can be writing these myself. If you are a good writer, then write the articles for your best keywords yourself. Otherwise, outsource to your article writer if they're a good one, or when you find a good article writer, pay a premium to have your best keywords written into awesome articles, because those are the ones you want to rank for most, so the content there has to be the best you're going to have on your website. Personally, I like writing articles myself because it's more personal and it's on my own style, but when I first get started, I normally outsource the first couple, maybe 5 articles, just so I have some content on my site and I can get promoting it and get started building links and everything like that. So yeah, that's my suggestion, but you don't have to follow this, it's completely up to you. If you hate writing, then maybe you just outsource the whole way. If you like writing, maybe you just write for yourself from the beginning, but it's up to you. Alright guys, so now that we've covered that, the rest of this video is going to be on some of the basic things you need to know when it comes to creating articles. Before we get to that, let's talk about the purpose of your content one last time. Let's just make sure at this point you've done your keyword research and you know what to write about because you've got those keyword groups. When doing your articles and creating them, you need to remember what the purpose of your content is. If you want your traffic to sign up for a free ebook, your articles should be structured that way, which we're going to talk about a bit later as well, so don't worry about it for now. Alright guys, so let's move on to content creation basics. These are the very basics that you need to have. So in terms of the amount of words, 800 minimum, preferably more. You can't have those 200, 300, 400, 500, whatever word articles anymore. It needs to be at least 800, preferably a lot more. We're looking at maybe 1,000, 1,500. It depends, but gone are those days that Google's going to rank those low quality, short articles. So go for at least 800. No keyword stuffing. You need to write naturally. So keyword stuffing is when you try to get your keywords into your article as much as possible, even though they don't make sense. When you put in a keyword, it needs to make sense in context of what you're writing. So write naturally and don't try to stuff your keywords. Think about what your audience wants when you're writing your articles. When they type in that keyword, whatever it is, what information are they looking for and how can you give them that information? Write for your audience and not for Google. So when I write my articles, I don't worry about, say, how am I going to rank on Google? Is this going to rank on Google? I just worry about, is this article good for my audience? Are they going to value it? Is it going to help them? So you want to target multiple keywords, i.e. keyword groups like we discussed when we did our keyword research. And your content must be unique. That's 100% crucial. You can't copy someone else's article. It needs to be unique. Okay, so we just covered some of the basic stuff. Now we're going to go into some more advanced stuff. The first thing we're going to look at is using compelling title tags. Before I even write my articles, I decide on my title tags because it helps me structure my content. So what we're going to do is head over to the live screen and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Alright guys, here we are at the live screen on my website and I'm going to show you 2 articles I wrote and the title tags. So let me just click on this one. So my title tag for this article that's targeting the keywords how to attract men is the top 5 hidden secrets on how to attract men. Now, when I talk about compelling title tags, you want to write a title tag that's going to attract people's attention. And using numbers is a really good way to do that because it helps people think, okay, so there's going to be 5 things I'm going to learn. And when they scroll down, they see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a structured article. It's simple to read, right? You don't get those confusions where there's so much different content. Also, when I go to type that into Google, you see what other people use as well. How to attract guys and find a man. 4 ways. They're using a number again. 15 easy. People like numbers for some reason. But what I like to do when I create my title text is see what other people are using and think of one that's going to compete with them. Because it's not always the highest ranked one that gets clicked. It's usually on the first page, but which one has a really good title tag that makes people want to click it. So type in a keyword and think, which one would I click if I was looking for this information? And you want to think of a compelling title tag as well. So let's go back. It doesn't always have to be a number thing as well. This one just says complete guide to dressing to impress men. It was an article I just wrote really quickly. I didn't actually focus on anything for that. Alright, so let's look at some more title tags. This one's targeting the keywords how to know if a guy likes you. Usually it's really good to have your keywords in your title tag, but don't put it if it doesn't make sense. Remember, it has to be natural. You shouldn't want to stuff your keywords. If it doesn't make sense as a part of your title tag, don't use it. So I've got mine saying how to know if a guy likes you, the 10 signs. So I like using numbers. So I put that in there as well. It doesn't always have to be at the front. You can write it in different ways. Another thing to note is when you're writing your post, you need to look at this little bottom part here. That's part of Yoast SEO. And it's going to show you what it looks like on Google when you type it in, like here, for example. Just like that. But what you want to do is if you type too many things, it will show, oh, that's still fine. If I type a bit more, it will show you that it does this ... thing. And normally that's a bit of a put off for people when they're searching on Google because you want to be able to read the whole thing. So keep your title tag short enough so people can actually see the thing like this. Alright, let's go look at some more. We're going to leave this page because I don't want to change what I just did. And it updated for me, so I'll fix that later. How to be a good girlfriend. 10 things you need to do. 10 things you need to know. I use numbers again. Why men lose interest and how to keep him interested. It doesn't always have to be numbers. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about when I say use a compelling title tag. You want to use a title tag that helps you attract people's attention, that they're going to want to click on your website instead of someone else's. And when you do things like using a number, it helps you structure your content as well. So it's good to use it. So just now when we were looking at title tags, I mentioned the structure of your content and how using numbers in your title tag can help you structure your content. So this part is going to be all about the structure of your content. You want to use headings to split your content. You can use keywords in your headings as well. It helps people read it more naturally and easily instead of having one big wall of text. It's split into different sections that talk about different things, and your heading's going to let them know. Because a lot of people don't read the whole content, they just look for specific things, and heading helps them navigate. You can use images as well. It can be engaging. Where you use them is up to you. You can have an image at the start of the page before the article starts or midway. You don't want to have too many images so that it blocks out your articles, but if you have a really long article like 2,000 words, it's okay to use 2-3 images. Small paragraphs are a lot easier to read than big chunky paragraphs because it just looks like a wall of text. So let's go over to the live screen again. I'm going to show you some examples of good articles and bad articles. Alright guys, here we are back at the live screen starting with my article. Like I mentioned before, I've got a title tag with a number in it, so it helps me structure my articles. So I've got hidden secret 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's what they're expecting when they read the title tag, which makes it really easy to structure my content because I can just talk about the 5 different things just like that. I haven't used the keywords in these headings, but you can do that as well if it makes sense. But remember, you don't want to stuff your keywords too much. And the paragraphs are also quite small as well, as you can see. They're not really big chunks of text. If I group this all together, it'd be a really big paragraph and it might be a bit off-putting for someone who doesn't like to read a lot. Alright guys, let's look at another website in terms of its structure. Immediately there's an image at the front, at the top of the article, which is quite engaging. It's got a bit lower. What I really like about this article is that the font size is quite big. It's easy to read, it doesn't hurt your eyes, it doesn't strain your eyes. And the length of the sentences are long enough, the paragraphs are small. It's another image, more images. It's also headings as well, which helps you navigate the content a lot better. And this just looks like a really easy to read article, so it doesn't give you a headache, it doesn't make you want to jump off the page and look elsewhere for information because it's structured so well. Alright, let's look at one last website. Immediately there's a picture at the front just like the other websites. The weird thing about this is you have like individual sentences and then a space and then more spaces and then all of a sudden you get long paragraphs. It's a bit weirder in the structure. There's no headings or anything as well, so it's harder to navigate. I'm not sure about things like this personally. It makes me lose focus of what I'm reading. If I was reading up to this point and then I see this, it kind of grabs my attention and I'm not sure what I'm doing anymore, what I should be reading. Similar thing here, that is quite distracting. And I never like it when the sentences look like this because it makes it a bit harder to read. My eyes are going left to right more often than I would like. I prefer it when it's like this. But yeah, when you're talking about structuring your content, you just want to make it as easy to read as possible, right? So people want to stay on your website. In a later video, we're going to look at conversions and how you structure your website to get people to take more action. But for now, we just want to make our article structured efficiently. And you can see a lot of websites do this anyway. They have the content there with an image and then a little thing here to sign up for the email list or something, just like I have with my website. And then you have your feature form at the bottom. That's another thing we talk about when we structure our content, but that's more a conversions thing that I'll go into a bit later in a separate video. But you can see they have it here as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is internal and external linking. Internal linking is a great way to reduce bounce rates and also improve your user's experience. Bounce rates is when someone just visits your website for one page and then leaves and doesn't visit any other pages, which can have an effect on Google's ranking. So you want to have a lower bounce rate. Internal linking really helps that, because if you're talking about a specific topic and you have a separate article on there, you can link to that from a different article. That's why it's great to have a lot of different content. I'm going to show you later how you do that, so don't worry. External linking to authority sites can be great for your audience and for SEO. There's some stats that show that external linking can boost your rankings. Whether or not that's conclusive is debatable, but make sure you link them to useful sources of information that will benefit your audience and not just any random authority site. But be careful, as it can drive traffic away from your site as well. If you do internal linking, then you're only linking to other pages on your website, so you're not really taking traffic away from your website. But if you link externally to other websites, it sometimes can be negative because you're going to drive traffic away from you. So it's up to you. I'm going to show you some live examples of how you do this and how you do it correctly. Okay, so let's look at some examples of internal and external linking. So first we're going to start with my website. Scroll down a little bit. You can always see the links easily because they're normally underlined, like all hyperlinks are on the internet. So here you can see it says, apparently men are attracted to the color red. This is an external link, so I have it set up so it opens on a new page. That way it doesn't distract people, in the sense that it doesn't close this page and people can come back to it. But look, apparently men are attracted to the color red. And straight away, psychological study reveals that red enhances men's attraction to women. So this is going to benefit my audience because they might want to read it. It'll be interesting for them. They don't have to, but I want to keep this page open so they can come back to it. Another internal link, well, this is an internal link, that was external. For an internal link, don't worry, I've got a separate in-depth article that teaches you everything you need to know about dressing to impress and attract men. You click on it. So in order to reduce my bounce rates, I don't have it open in a different tab like I did with that one. It just takes them straight to the page. And then you can see I've relinked here as well. There's only 2 articles on this website at the moment, so I can't have too many internal links. And another internal link at the bottom. Let's look at a different website. Well, another one of my websites. You can see straight at the beginning, I've got 2 links to different pages on my website for people who would be interested in that. They might not be on this stage of their course yet or on this level, so that would be more useful for them. I don't think I have any more internal links here, not at the moment. But let's look at an external website, so not one of mine. You can see everything here, right? If I just scroll down, you can see the amount of things that are underlined, well, not underlined, but in a different color because they're all links. This is an external link. Let's see what else there is. That's an external link. You can see at the bottom here that, well, it goes away, but it says CDC to a government website, which is pretty good. It's an external link. More external links. So as you can see, internal and external linking is actually very common and can be beneficial in different ways, not just for SEO, but also for your audience. So you definitely want to implement them, but you want to do them in a way like I did that doesn't distract people too much. And that's pretty much it, guys. We've just covered some of the key things that will help you improve the quality of your content. Remember that your content needs to not only be unique, but also engaging. People are going to need to want to read it and want to read more. That's how you get them to sign up for your ebooks. In the next video, we'll talk about conversions, which leads into the structure of your content and writing content in a way that is going to help you get people to sign up for your ebook. So stay tuned for that. Until then, have a good day, guys.